Answer in a paragraph. How did the presence of Parker influence the attitude of Pi during his travel? Pi was stranded in the Pacific on a lifeboat. As he looked around, he was shocked to see Parker, a tiger, on board. He was so weak because he had no food, water, or sleep for nearly 3 days. He became overthirsty, which overpowered his fear, and he went in search of water. His search of water became so dangerous because it was close to Richard Parker and Hannah. Soon he succeeded in his search when he found lots of cans of drinking water. Pi was restored to live and became refreshed in his senses. He understood that Richard Parker had helped him to survive for 227 days. Pi realized that Parker, who'd scared him earlier, brought to him place, purpose, and wholeness. Pi left Parker in the jungle and reunited him with his family. Water is the elixir of life. Substantiate the statement with reference to the song of the life of Pi. Pi was stranded in the Pacific Ocean on a lifeboat. As he looked around, he was shocked to find Richard Parker, a tiger, on board. He suffered a great lot without food, water, and sleep, nearly for 3 days. He went in search of drinking water, which took him close to the tiger. But his thirst could not stop him. He never bothered about the tiger or hyena. Pi wanted to know what were the supplies at the bow beneath the tarpaulin of the lifeboat. He unrolled the tarpaulin and undid the hasp and pulled on the lid. It opened onto a locker. He found plenty of water cans there. With a shaky hand, Pi picked up one, shook it, and opened the can with the tarpaulin hooks and drank the water. Pi felt that the pure, delicious, beautiful, and crystalline water flowed into his body. His forehead began to sweat with fresh, clean, refreshing perspiration. Everything, right down to his pores, became joyful. In order to get this water, Pi took the risk of his life, though the two dangerous animals stood in front of him. To survive, we need water, which is the elixir of life. Next, if you were lost at sea for as long as Pi was, what is the one item you would want with you? Write a diary entry in which you identify the item and explain why it is the one thing you would want with you. If I were lost at sea as long as Pi was, the one item I would want with me is drinking water. I want to keep with me to survive. At sea, there is water. Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Water is the elixir of life. Without water, no one can survive. Even without taking in food, one can survive to a certain period. But without water, one cannot live. A person needs water at least to shout at the time of help. Cans of drinking water is kept in the lifeboat to save lives for the time being. For toppers, the hero of the story Life of Pi is Piscine Molitor Pi Patel, an Indian boy from Pondicherry who survived 227 days after his ship was wrecked. He was stranded on a lifeboat in the Pacific Ocean with a Bengal tiger called Richard Parker. The pathetic condition of Pi was that he was left alone and orphaned. He was found clinging to an oar in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Besides, there were an adult tiger and a hyena in front of him. Apart from this danger, sharks were seen beneath him, and also there was a raging storm. The tiger was 450 pounds of weight in a 26 feet long lifeboat was a mystery. If Parker died, Pi would have been left alone with despair. Most of the things in the lifeboat were orange. The lifeboat was 3.5 feet deep, 8 feet wide, and 26 feet long. Nearly 32 people can accommodate at a time to the maximum. Pi went in search of drinking water and he found himself close to the tiger and hyena. But nothing could stop him. Pi wanted to know whether the supplies were at low beneath the tarpaulin. He unrolled the tarpaulin and undid the hasp and pulled on the lid. It opened on to a locker. To his great surprise, he found a number of water cans there. Pi felt that the pure, delicious, beautiful, crystalline water flowed into his system. He felt refreshed as his forehead was fresh, clean, and refreshing perspiration. Everything in him began to express joy. Finally, Pi left Richard Parker in a jungle and waited for a ship. It pained him to see the animal walking away without even turning his head to have a last glimpse at him. A ship found Pi and he was reunited with his family. Next, sequence the following incidents logically to write a summary of the story life of Pi. Pi was stranded in the Pacific on a lifeboat. As he looked around, he was shocked to find Richard Parker on board. As he looked around, he was pinned by weakness, having had no food, water, or even sleep for nearly 3 days. Strangely, his thirst overpowered his fear of Richard Parker and he went about exploring for fresh water. His search for water took him dangerously close to Richard Parker, but nothing could stop him, neither Richard Parker nor Hannah. A little later, he succeeded in his search when he found stalks of cans of drinking water. Pi came back to life and his senses after drinking the elixir of life. He understood that it was Richard Parker who helped him survive for 227 days. Then he realized that Parker, who scared him earlier, brought him peace, purpose, and wholeness. Pi left Richard Parker in a jungle and reunited with his family.